Hi, good morning. So I wanted to talk to you about finding yourself. This video is all about self-made aesthetic. So what I'm trying to do for you is help you level up how I did. How I used to be the one that would always spin the block and go back to whomever I was talking to or whoever would give me attention, basically. And it wasn't always the best experience. So, what I'm trying to tell you is you have to do that work. So, what I'm talking about is pinpointing where your strategies of life have been and then working through those. It's propelling yourself through that vision where you tell yourself, you know what, it could have gone this way or it could have gone the other way and it didn't, and I accept it. That's one method of working through whatever it may be. So, and then another method would be to actually, envision that the scenario played out differently. So your mind doesn't know night from day, right from wrong, past, present, future. It just knows what's happening in the current moment, but it doesn't know if that's in the present. So when you talk to yourself, how you talk to yourself and what you bring about, that's what's going to attract it. So when we're talking about self-made aesthetic, that's when it comes into the vision of you bringing out whatever you are thinking, and it can intertwine with a lot of journaling that I've had to do, and also rebuilding myself. Where I was at the extent to the point where I was like, I don't even know who I am. And I went through a lot of these like journeys per se. And I was just like, you know what? I don't think I can do that. I can't do this anymore because it's just like it's very detrimental for my health, because I would think one way and start doing another, and I wouldn't see any type of progress. And so that really like brought me down to the point where I just started to just kind of think like, oh, I'm never going to change. And so this started back, I want to say like 2014, 2015, straight from like thinking that I was like not the one, thinking that I was not going to find anybody, and following those patterns that I was seeing as a kid, like seeing growing up into my like not adult, but like teen years. So I was the one that I like would always initiate everything. Like I'm the one that was always reaching out. I was the one that would text or triple text, and I, I was that person. I was that person that would like check to see if you received my text, because all I wanted was that validation I wasn't receiving in the household I was in. And that's no shade to like my parents. Like it's my parents' first time being parents too, like on this world. So it's kind of like, they didn't know how to handle like a teenager, and any teenager actually to that point. So there's that. And the point what I'm trying to get at is that I was a pick me show. It's crazy to say that, but now I'm like totally the opposite. And this is what I want. I want to help you on this, on how to get started, because a lot of the things that I've done, like they didn't work, so something may work for you and then something may not work for you. And I went through a lot of trials and errors, like for the past 10 years is basically like how I had to find myself, right? And And so, like, I'm just telling myself, okay, so what are you doing with your life? Okay, one thing that I want to say is that I did have a lot of people telling me, you know, like, hey, like, get your act together before, like, shit hits the ceiling, before shit hits the fan or whatever. And I just didn't recognize it. But one of my relatives, like, wrote down a note because on me, like, when I came in early, I wasn't going to school. I stopped going to, like, work. I had just quit my job. Like, I was working at, like, at some bookstore. It was, like, really, like, a small, like, place. Anyway, and I didn't know what I was doing. So at the time, that's when that note was, like, left in the bathroom, like the vanity mirror of my bathroom. And it said, what do you want to do with your life? I actually have it. I'm going to bring it. All right. So I have this box. This is my memory box that I keep from my past. And I just, you know, I still want to acknowledge that person, like, to tell them, you know, it's going to be okay. It's all right. Oh, it might be in my other box. But I started a new memory box, and it helps me because it helps me think back of, like, everything I've been in and, like, what I've gone through, and it just really really helps. Like, it really does. Like, if I forget something and then I'll go back to that, you know, it'll be like one thing from the year, like 1 year or whatever. And so there's that. But I did want to like add that it's never too late to want to start on yourself. If you didn't make it in your teens, you can make it in your 20s. If you didn't make it in your 20s, you can make it in your 30s. If you didn't make it in your 30s, baby, you can make it in your 40s. And that's starting. You can make it in your 50s, 60s, 70s, all the way up until, like, the very last breath that you take here on earth. Like, you're all constantly learning. So me taking those 10 years, like, just learning about myself, it feels like it was just, like, in a blink of an eye. And I went through a lot, and I put myself through a lot. So I had to learn certain lessons about myself, you know, through other people, because, you know, people we meet are mirrors. And this is, from my perspective, this is my vision that I've had. But I just didn't know how to pinpoint it and, like, what kind of vision I had for myself. I knew I wanted to get to the point where I'm at now. I just didn't know how to get there. So anyway, back to the story of the note. It said, Astrid, what I want to do with my life and what I want to do now. What am I doing and what am I doing with my life? And that sparked a pivotal moment in my life to the point where I was like, what do I want to do? Like, what am I doing? Like, I'm at a certain age where, you know, I don't know anything, but I want to know everything, you know, but I think I know a lot, and it wasn't even like that. So I just gradually, you know, started getting out of being a pick-me-sha. You know, initiating, like, the first contact with anybody and talking to somebody in, like, first. And I was just like, you know what, like, if nobody goes with me anywhere, because I wanted to be with people all the time, but I also craved my isolation as well. So it's so crazy. And so with that, I would always tell myself, look at me, I gotta get ready. I'm over here just yapping away. Thanks, Astrid. Good job. And what I was doing is just essentially, like, I started to close off. You know, I thought I was, like, doing good for myself, and I thought that I was, like, doing something that was, like, positive. But the thing is, like, I put myself in such a big bubble of isolation that I kind of got like depressed. And so when I got depressed, I ended up moving out of my parents' house. And I was with somebody at the time, but I was the one that was like a pick me sha, right? I was always the one that was like, pick me, be with me, why aren't you with me? Why don't you understand me? Maybe I stick it out and I stay with you because that's just how relationships are. No. And so what I ended up doing is quitting my job because I was like really at a low point in my life and I had low self-esteem and I was pretty skinny, and I ended up letting myself go. I ended up being like really depressed to the point where I just wanted to like be gone, and the person I was with like would call me names and tell me like nobody likes me, and this is somebody who like, you know, they got like, you know, a little bit more like chunky, and I was pretty skinny. I was small, and for being somebody who's like really tall and fitting into a small, that's kind of like the ratio for me. I wasn't always used to that. I was used to being toned and fit in high school. Anyway, off tangent, that's a story for another day. So I ended up I don't use foundation because I'm gonna be in the house, but I do like to get ready just in case. So what I ended up doing is I ended up gaining so much weight, and then I had gotten in, well, the guy I was with had gotten in an accident with my car, so I didn't have a car, and we were like carpooling together, and I was just like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. I ended up moving in with him. I had my own like place when I had moved out, and I was just thriving during that time, and now I'm here at this place, you know, with this guy, you know, not liking myself and being really low. So what triggered that moment for me was when I was being told like names, and I was being called names that I know are not like true, or words. I was being told words that, you know, were trying to fit a puzzle that were not like mine. That puzzle was not mine. And so with that, I was just like, what am I doing? You know, I felt so low. I felt so like nothing. Like I was just a kid Misha just being there for. And the thing is, like the guy, he wasn't even my type. Like he was so off the Richter for me. Like we were in a different like multiverse. So like I'm saying, like it's not even the attractiveness that got me. It's only the attention that got me. It's somebody that was giving me attention, and I was there. So what I'm trying to tell you, like moral of the story is like, you're gonna have trigger moments. I had trigger moments in my life to the point where I didn't know what I was doing, but that was essentially catapulting me to starting my journey. And it just so happened to be very painful because I put myself in those situations, and because myself, my inner self, my higher self was telling myself, you gotta look at the signs. You gotta look at the signs. And that's when I just started. I was just like, you know what, I'm moving out. I'm leaving. I can't do this anymore. Like I'm out of here. Like I can't. So I ended up going to somebody's house. All random. No, but I ended up going to because I started school again because I didn't know what to do, and that's how I was gonna get money. And then I got back to my job. I was really lucky on getting my job, even though I quit my job like just up and left. And I started my journey again. I started going for walks. I started like, you know, I've always wanted to have friends, and at that point in my life, and I just couldn't, because it's just kind of like the same thing I would do in a relationship, the same thing I would do in a friendship. And obviously nobody's gonna want to be with a pickanisha. So that's when I started thinking, like, what am I doing? Like, why would I want to do this? Like, you know? And so it's where I essentially started to, like, isolate myself again, but in a way where I was like, well, oh my gosh, these are, oh. No, honey. No, honey, we cannot. I'll fix that later. It's the point where I wanted so badly to be liked, but I ended up not liking myself first. Look at this. Look at her, girl. Oh, gosh. We cannot have this. We cannot. We cannot. So what I ended up doing was I just started working out, and that helped me, and school, and that helped me out a little bit, to be around people. But there's always going to be, oh, what am I doing? But there's always going to be those people that just know your light and know what's going on, and they want to, like, dim that. Like, they really want to dim that light that you have. And let's see. I'm just gonna be around the house for today, so we just getting ready just in case we have to get a package. Well, anyway, so that's essentially how you start your journey, because, you know, it's a trial run. I'm still gonna, you know, start journeys, and it might not be what I like, and so I can start all over. And that's what's good about it, because once you find yourself, you've already found yourself. You're here, you know, and you know that, like, that clicks. Like, for me, knowing now where I am at, like, it's night and day. I can't even put myself in the same category as, like, who I was before. I can't even do that. Like, I really can't. And because of that, it just so happens to be, I have setting powder. It just happens to be really, like, I keep saying pivotal. I wonder, I'm gonna do like a tally count of how many times I've said pivotal, but it happens to be a really great moment for me in time in life, to the point where I can look back and be like, yeah, that was somebody who was, you know, really looking for validation. That was, now I don't care. Like, whether you're with me in my life, not around my life, and I treat everybody the same. If you treat me differently, like, this is what I want all the time. What I deserve, what I desire is princess treatment. And if that's not happening between you and me, then I'm not for it, and I'll just move on. So this is the type of person I am now. Totally the opposite from what I was back then. And, you know, it kind of breaks my heart too, because, like, I'll go back and I'll be like, okay, we're starting here, and now we're here. And so it's just like, fix that fan. I'm really gonna fix that fan. You can start off small, take baby steps, and the whole point of this video is, when you're starting off on your journey, when you want to find yourself, you have that, like, inkling, that itch, to do something better. Start it, try it. Like, what else? What are you gonna achieve by not doing it? Like me, it took me so many years, so many tries to put out this type of content, and now that I'm doing it, like I feel better. Like I feel like I have a weight lifted off my shoulders. Is something that I have always wanted to do since like YouTube came out and I was a kid, and I was like, oh, I want to do that. Like I want to do that. And as an adult now that I'm doing it, like I love it. I love it. And even to help somebody get the point across, like even for like a few seconds, like that is what initially I know I came here for, to help you. And so your journey, once you start it, it will never be over. Your journey to find yourself in a different light and a different aesthetic for yourself. When I talk about aesthetics, it's nothing about materialistic aspects. What I'm referring to here is when you have an aesthetic for yourself in the type of journey that you're in. Your journey won't always be the same. You're not always going to have routine. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the same cycle over and over again. And that's what you want to accomplish, is you want to be open to change. You want to be open to change in yourself within. That's the type of aesthetic that I am talking about here in this channel. The aesthetic that comes within your inner work, working with yourself inside, and that brings it out. It just feels so good to say this stuff. Like, you have no idea. You have no idea. And yeah, I hope to inspire somebody, even just one person. Like that'll help me out, because that's my purpose. That's my purpose, what I have here. All right, so I hope this helped, and I hope that you caught something, even though it was like off tangent. I'm gonna have to start putting like notes out here to be on tangent. That's what ADHD does. And so yeah, I'm gonna put like thing here. Actually, I'm gonna take a screenshot right now, girl. Let's do this. Here we go.